Watch out, Congreels, you might be back on the menu. And it is absolutely delicious. Hi, I'm Dan Snow, and today I'm going to be experiencing a Tudor meal fit for a king. The Tudor period is named after the House of Tudor, the ruling family that held the English throne from 1485 to 1603. And the most well-known member of that dynasty is Henry VIII. Henry VIII's reign is often remembered for his 6 wives and his rather full figure. But why was Henry so overweight? Well, one of the reasons is likely to have been his very hearty diet. Henry regularly feasted on roasted meals and fatty fish, and is said to have loved snacking on sugary treats. Today I'm going to unfasten the belt a few notches and find out what would have been on the menu at a Tudor royal banquet. First up, the meat of kings, venison. From deer, of course, and all aristocrats and kings loved going out for a day's hunting. Several of them had unfortunate hunting accidents that cost them their life. My trusty knife, no forks in Tudor times, none of that namby-pamby stuff. Just eat it with your fingers. Now, this is a dish that has aged well. Still love venison. Well, interestingly, you couldn't buy deer meat, you couldn't buy venison. It was only consumed by those who could afford to have their own deer park. That is why it was seen as a royal aristocratic food. One could only get their knife into it if it was gifted to you or if you could afford to hunt it yourself. So, for example, Henry VIII, that incorrigible romantic, once sent Anne Boleyn, who he was chasing at the time, a dead deer carcass. Lovely. But in fact, he accompanied a note that explained his thinking. He said, "And to cause you yet oftener to remember me, I send you, by the bearer of this, a buck killed late last night by my own hand, hoping that when you eat of it, you may think of the hunter." So it was like a love letter, really. I must say, I love venison, and I would eat more of it if I could, and if I had my own deer park. Courtiers, royals like me, would have enjoyed a huge variety of food. Freshly slaughtered, roasted meat every day, the luxury even of being able to choose from a menu of different dishes. There was a lot of protein in the Tudor diet. Meals could be up several thousand calories. That's a lot more than we might eat today. I think it is true that the Tudors, including the nobility, would have needed more calories than we do, because they didn't just sit about all the time looking at laptop screens. They were out, their houses were cold, they were on horseback, they were travelling big distances on foot, they were hunting, dancing, fighting, doing all sorts. So you need to get the old calories in. This is the big one. Henry VIII ate a huge variety of food, wherever he took his fancy. We know he ate swans, he ate pies, lamb, venison, porpoise, but there are accounts of him eating conger eel. This is one of those eels. I've seen them when I've been diving off the coast of Britain, but I never thought I'd have to eat one. Right, here goes. I like the sort of congealed jelly here that's formed along the side. Whew. Might have to give that a bit of a go. But in the meantime, let's get involved. Right. It's actually not bad. It's okay. It's fishy. What do you expect? Just a normal whitefish, actually. I can get used to it. Watch out, Congreels, you might be back on the menu. It looks absolutely disgusting. Doesn't taste too bad. Remember, it was compulsory to eat fish on Fridays and during Lent. So no wonder they want a bit of variety. I'm not touching that jelly stuff though. I've seen these when I've been out diving. One almost bit my hand off when I was diving on a World War II tank off the coast of Dorset, but I never thought I'd be eating one. As you can see, I'm using my hands, a lot to eat. So there was a strict etiquette around clean hands, and you weren't really supposed to just like go and handle other people's food. Sweet potato, an absolute favourite of mine, and also Henry VIII. This was brought over from the New World, post Christopher Columbus. This delicious sweet variety of potato, allegedly introduced to the English court by Henry VIII's long-suffering Spanish wife, Catherine of Aragon. It was said that Henry could eat over 20 of these in one sitting. And actually, I agree, so could I. Absolutely delicious. No notes at all, Henry. He liked them so much that he apparently offered land and gold to any gardener that could grow them. The first definitive account of sweet potato in England comes from the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, who was Henry VIII's daughter. A man called Gerard Herbal, brilliant name, wrote in 1597, "Howsoever they be dressed, they comfort, nourish, and strengthen the body." So true, Gerard. To spice up Western European diets, explorers and mariners had been heading out to Asia to get, well, spices, like pepper, like cinnamon, nutmeg, all sorts of things. And it was on one of these journeys that Christopher Columbus accidentally reached the Americas. Before Columbus and other explorers brought back food from the Americas, there were no tomatoes, potatoes, vanilla, chocolate, turkey, tobacco, or chili peppers in Europe. Imagine that. Julius Caesar never ate a tomato or a potato. Extraordinary. Beautiful Tudor rose, marchpane. Now, I said forks weren't allowed at the Tudor court. Weirdly, there was a tradition that the king was allowed to use a fork, but only when it was sweet food. So we're going in on the fork this time. Oh, hope it takes the eel taste out of my mouth, this. Marchpane was a kind of cakey tart, I guess, made of ground almonds, shelled, ground very fine, sugar and rose water. And it is absolutely delicious. It's like marzipan, but slightly lighter. After you've had a bit of marzipan, you feel like you need to lie on the ground for a few hours. But I reckon you go about your daily business after this. They loved moulding this into shapes, like this lovely Tudor rose here, and they coloured it, and they coated it with fruits and other comfits, which is nuts or seeds coated in sugar. Basically, folks, the Tudors loved sugar, which was increasingly grown in plantations of enslaved people in the Atlantic and the Caribbean. Elizabeth I ate so much sugar that her teeth rotted out and her breath stank, apparently. Having said that, I could eat this all day. Now, the Tudor court was famous for drinking vast amounts of beer. 600,000 gallons of beer every single year, according to the accounts. That's about, well, nearly £6 million based on today's money. Now, to drink that much beer, we've worked out that each of the 1,200 or so people at court would need to have consumed an average of 10 pints every day. Now, the beer was watered down, but still a lot of booze. The Tudor period saw England develop into one of the leading European powers, extending its territorial ambitions beyond the familiar shores of Europe. This increased wealth and power was evident in dining halls across the country, with new foods available and an increasingly decadent attitude towards feasting, at least for the wealthy. Thanks for joining me, folks. If you've enjoyed watching, please click on any of the videos on this screen for more delicious content.